Hi everyone, welcome to Low-sal-life. My name is Sarah and it has been a crazy year. So I wanted to make a video today looking forward into 2024, some plans I am looking forward to and ways that you can get involved. I do want to say that even though I have been gone, I did not make a single video in 2023. I have been busy and I've been working on a website. So on the website, and I just wanted to show you some updates so that you guys aren't lost and kind of know where I'm going with the site and what you guys can expect when you go visit. The first thing is, this year was hard. The first 3 or 4 months of the year, I was dealing with a chronic sinus infection and had to get a root canal for a bum tooth, which altogether I've had 3 root canals on the same tooth this year. I just had my last one in November, and ultimately I'll probably have to have surgery on the tooth because I still have pain. So that's been fun. And then I broke my toe in September, and I just went for my first walk on Christmas Day, so it was 3.5 months before I could, I'm just barely starting to walk almost properly on it. So I'm gonna make a few videos on both of those situations and some of the salicylate issues that I had through that process. And then I also spent several months away from home while managing my dad and the family home and going through my mom's belongings. She passed quite a few years ago, and so it's been a heck of a year. But I have officially entered what I call hibernation phase, which is usually between November and March. I get a lot of stuff done during that time. I mostly stay at home and just nerd out on all of my projects, and so now it's catch up. So I'll show you what I've been up to and what you can expect when you go to the site, and also an invitation for you to look for some new studies that I've added. But first, I want to say thank you to a couple of people that deserve a little recognition. Okay, so the first thing is thank you to folks in 2023 who contributed to my channel and to this whole project. So I got an anonymous one, so someone, thank you. And then Donnie, Wes, Glenn, Lisa, Carrie, and Tord. I actually haven't met any of you guys. Thank you so much for reaching out and supporting me. These contributions go directly into the cost of managing the website. It does help with the cost of the plugins and also for the hosting and domain and those kinds of things. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Next, I also want to say and also do a little plug-in for Low-sal Saturday. I haven't advertised the last couple of months because I was actually out of town. It was really hard for all of us to meet, but we are still meeting on Saturdays. I'm committed through June, with the exception that May and June may not be on the second Saturday. It depends if I'm out of town for botanical work, but we are still meeting, and I just want to say a very heartfelt thanks to a couple of ladies that come every single month. I love seeing you guys. And for all the folks that come in and out, a lot of people will come in once or twice, ask a whole bunch of questions, and then kind of, maybe I might not see them again, but I really wish you guys the best. I have so many questions. I want to know, did you get better? Did you find a solution? Are you eating more foods? Anyway, I really enjoyed meeting you guys because of that monthly check-in. It's really kept me looking at the literature and staying focused, even though it was a really busy year. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Okay, now let's look at the updates on the website. First of all, I had to do a complete overhaul on this. I decided to change the content management system. The old one was just not getting... I didn't want to grow with it, and I have been learning a lot more on WordPress, so I switched this to WordPress, and I kind of like how it's turning out. So on the home page, just kind of some normal stuff that you would see, just kind of some a new format on the front, and a little bit easier to kind of navigate and see what's in the site, but all your normal pages are still here. So what are salicylates? I did add a couple of new symptoms to it, maybe clarified a few things, spell checked. Hopefully those, I had to revert my site a few times, so hopefully the spell checks took. So yeah, so your normal stuff here, living life, these are all your usual pages. These were copied basically verbatim. Not too many improvements were made with those. And the about page is just about the same. So we'll start with the blogs and videos. There wasn't too much that was added to this, but there is now a search bar and it's a little bit cleaner format on there. There is a simplified list if you want to see all of the videos and blogs that I've ever done. So that's a nice way to look through. That did not exist before. Next is, we'll go through recipes. Rather than having a bunch of categories, I decided to do this as kind of a filterable directory, and that's really how I'm building out. There's 4 directories total on the site. So rather than clicking on a category that's breakfast and then clicking on lunch, but you could also have like breakfast for lunch. So then you'd end up kind of seeing a lot of duplicates, and this format changes it. So you're not going to run into those issues. So you can do a search. You can search by breakfast and brunch if you want. And so you can just go scrolling away. I think this one has infinite scroll possibly. You can search by different diet types. If you're looking for like carnivore only, you can look up animal-based. For vegan, vegetarian, dairy-free, gluten-free, those all have like different versions. Like we'll look at one here. Let's say vegetarian. So these all look pretty vegetarian here, but there might be broth, let's say, in this cabbage soup. And so, it'll say a variation in there. So I hope that will be easier for you guys to navigate. Anything special about this one? Yeah, we need to get some pictures. If you guys are making these recipes, please send me pictures, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to make most of these. I thought about making videos on them, so we'll probably do that in the upcoming year. But anyway, I'm liking the way it turned out. Okay, let's look at the directory. Same thing here. They're not broken down by category, so you don't have to click in several and then several, one item sits in 2 categories. So basically you can just scroll through and look through it. A new feature I added was a select by. I don't know if these products, like if Smell Away, if you can get that in the UK or not. So I couldn't really organize it by country. So I did it by which country contributed the item. So for example, all of these were contributed by folks in Australia. I've never seen them here in the US. I've looked for all of these here and they're just not here. So if you're looking for Australia specific items, this might help you. This was a lady in the UK sent me some items in the UK. So most of these I submitted. So of course USA is going to be huge, but do send me products. Also let me know where you are in the country, because it doesn't take more than a few minutes to post something like this. And yeah, I hope that'll be helpful. I do have Canada on here, but I thought I had a Canadian entry, but I guess I don't. So if you're in Canada, send me something so we can. I didn't want to delete it, so we can just continue. These are categorized, and just to get the site moved over, I did at least 1 category minimum, but I didn't necessarily go into 2 categories. I know a lot of these here can function into categories. So for example, I would put shampoo under hair products, and even though I use soap tallow in my hair, I would put that under soap first. As I go through and update these, I'll try to make a secondary category, or categorize them each by at least everything that they fall into, but that was kind of a low priority for me. So if you're like, man, where is that product? Kind of think of like it's inherently, shampoo is inherently a hair product. So I would have put it in hair product. Anyway, but if at all else fails, you can put glass cleaner here for, glass cleaner, and you can find it. So, all right, that is the directory, recipes, living life. Let's see, anything new under there? No. I was really hoping to have a lot more medical providers. It's really hard to find doctors in the US. If you have a doctor that even knows what a salicylate is, please send me their name and let me know, what their specialty is. I would love to. I have one person from South Africa that submitted something, and that's it. So I know that there's a few more. My doctor, she's a little, she's understanding of it, but it's kind of, yeah. She doesn't know a ton, so we definitely work through that every single time there's a new medicine to cover. It's like, I don't know, do you think we can use this? So let's talk about, under recipes, there's low-sal snacks. That page is still there. Eventually I want to make these into, pictures under the snack category for recipes. But for now, there's an article here on low-sal recipes. Research. This here is pretty much copied and pasted, almost identical from the old site. There's not much on here, except I kind of made the accordion a little tiny bit nicer. So, however, there were at least 150, 200 entries in here. And so but I haven't gone through at least 100 of them. So I had an uncategorized section. So I have started a thing called Sarah's flashcards. This is something that I want to go through on a regular basis, maybe once a week, twice a week, and go through these articles and read them, check them out, categorize them, see if they're useful or not. A lot of these I'll go and look through and get a book, and then I'll pull their bibliography, and I'll want to read the original research articles to see if I interpret them the same way. Are there inherent issues with the research article? That kind of thing. So anyway, I've got them here. There's about 200 here, and this is totally in progress. So eventually this will replace the research section. Everything will be tagged and reviewed. You can see here that this says not reviewed yet. This is one that I have reviewed, but I need to jot down all of my notes and put them in here so you guys can check them out. There's a chance that I might do just some study sessions once a week and put it up unedited. If that interests you, let me know. I thought about doing it live stream. I don't know, I would like to just get up and spend 30 minutes reviewing an article and really not have the pressure of making sure that I'm all done up and that, my videos are flawless and that kind of thing. So let me know if that interests you. And then if it's really good, I'll take, my notes and make them into a more formal video that, it's more for the broader audience. So I don't know. Let me know if that interests you. And if you'd be interested in live streaming, I don't know. There's a lot of pressure in that, but I'd like to just bring the pressure down so that I can put more content out for you guys and that I can actually read these articles. So let me know if that interests you. All right, the last video or last section here is the most important one that I want to show you guys, and that's the salicylate values list. So this here, as you remember, was a mostly text long table, and I didn't realize how many entries I'd been adding to it. There was about 650 entries in it. I have a hard time with change. I didn't want to put you guys in a rough spot. So I want to point out a couple of things. First, the old list is here in almost its same format. Okay, so you can go through here, see my notes. I'm actually still referencing it as I'm bringing stuff through. It is almost all moved over. The exception is a handful of chemicals. We'll get there. See, yeah, I'm so sorry. And like I said, the old site, it was just kind of not really working. It wasn't mobile accessible for this table anymore, and it was just getting kind of ridiculous. So this is the section I haven't moved over yet. Body, medicine, household products. I will move these over. They will each have its own entry and then explain why that item has a salicylate or why it might affect people with sensitivity. So I'm still working through that, the tail end of that. Okay, we'll go back. There is the printable shopping list. That also needs to be updated, but I still left it here. I left a little blank spot here because I have the intention of maybe making a Sarah safe list, or maybe, yeah, so maybe put a list of what I eat, because I get asked that all the time, and I've been kind of uncomfortable about it, but I, like, if it's my list, like, you guys can do whatever you want with it, but I'll put my list up there. There's one more view here. It's view table view. I just want to say that this here is going to load slowly. You can see here, a little scrolly thing. This here is pulling 250 entries at one time. It is dynamic, so you can search through it and everything, but all of these you can click on and learn more about it. I really only did that so that you can look at a glance, see what there's available, and then also you can print. So I just hit Control P on my keyboard. But if you do landscape and fit to page width, you can get a pretty decent printout if that interests you. 250 entries is, how many pages is that? Quite a few. In order to print, let's say you wanted to print this, you would have to go to page 2, 3, 4, and 5 to print. But basically, if you're interested, like, you could look up Malachar here and look at all of Malachar's entries. So that's at a glance all of their entries there. This is not something you want to just like search through and just look at particular, you know, like search for Apple or whatever. You could, but this will work well for printing and looking at large amounts of data easily. Okay, so let's go back to Salicylate values list and show you a couple of things here. First, everything's categorized 0 to high. Here you have your categories by food item, and same thing, everything's at least tagged with one item by its inherent like core thing. So lemonade's a drink. Like, you're not getting very many veggies in that. It's going to be under beverages. Now I did put one lemonade, and I did manage to put fruit or vegetable. Licorice candy might have some flavor or spice, but it's going to be listed under candy. So just keep that in mind. The second thing here is filter by type. Now there are 3 different types of things that are in my directory. One is original research. 2 is a therapeutic list. This is really helpful when you can't find a research article entry for it. People have been treating salicylate sensitivity for a long time. You can see here the last batch I ran was the RPA Hospital 2019 book. So, you know, they have some recommendations. Yeah, just kind of, there's that lemonade. So you can see here that it says it's from a therapeutic list and not tested in a lab. So when you consider it, just know that. But they're working with patients, so that's why they came up with their list. And for RPA Hospital in particular, they include amines and glutamates and other chemicals. So sometimes I've been critical that they end up showing up higher, or if people aren't paying attention, that it might show in a high category, but it really is low or negligible in salicylates. So it's kind of hard for people to see that unless they're really familiar with the way the lists are made. Just something to think about. Okay, and then the last one is low-sal-life analysis. I'm going to be putting my comments and thoughts in here. Some of them are this is going to be like me looking at a chemical and saying this cannot be a salicylate because it's it's not an organic molecule. Therefore, it's not going to function like a salicylate in our body. So that's what those low-sal-life analyses are going to be like. I actually had a couple up, but I had to revert my site. I had a big, huge error. Hopefully none of you guys noticed, but I ended up losing a couple of my entries. So that's too bad. Anyway, you can see up here, there's 111 entry, or 1,111. It's kind of a great number. It made me happy. So I decided to stop and take a break there and check in with you guys by video. But one thing I do want to show is I think Malachar or Kezica has. Okay, Kezica has some unique Kezica and Malachar. They tested both free salicylates and free and bound salicylates. So technically it's two different tests. And so I just want you to kind of see here that this here says instant yeast and instant yeast. These are the same study, Kezica 2017, same product, Dr. Oetker. But here you can see that this test has free salicylates and this test has free and bound. So I just want to call that out, that that's the way that those are looking. So you can see that the tested amount is 6 and the high amount is 8. So just so you know, so like for example, we can look up, I'm gonna start my search over here. Let's try lemon. Lemon is always one that, you know, is hard to know if we should have it or not. So lemonade is moderate. Lemon here. Let's see, this is the therapeutic list. They recommend that it's high. And then here, this one here is Kezica lemon tested negligible at 0.05. And then here is another one. Oh yeah, here you go. This one's free salicylates, that's 0.03. And then the bound salicylates are higher at 0.05. So you can see that went up just a smidge. Regardless, it still showed up as negligible. Here's another one. This one here, Scotter, actually tested both salicylic acid and acetylsalicylic, but only in free. And both of those came up negligible when they were added together. You can see here there are several others. Here's another one that Scotter tested at 3.2. That's much higher. Is that really for his? Oh, he tested lemonade up here. Okay. Anyway, so now you can see every single test that has been done, and you don't need me to, you know, be the gatekeeper, and you know, a lot of these things weren't up. I just kind of did my best to provide the most useful versions. Here's lemons in 1985 were low, lemon low. This one's a more recent one. High, Malachar. This includes the bound salicylates. So that gives you an idea. It's kind of all over the place. Lemons are terrible, but you know, here's the thing. Test it, see if you react to it. If you don't, keep eating it. I react to them, unfortunately. So I definitely think that there's salicylates in there. So, okay, let's look inside of the article here. We'll do that Malachar at the bottom. A couple new details to catch here. First is I spent like 16 hours looking for photos. I hope it helps. I hope it helps us across the board talk about these foods with different words. Here you have my category listing. You have the tested value, which is my converted value. You also have the original value. So some of you guys have messaged me and be like, did you do your math wrong? And no, I didn't. It's always a chance, but I didn't. So here you can see the actual amount exactly as it was listed in the research article. That's another thing too. You're going to see some weird spellings depending on where you are in the country on the titles. I copied the titles exactly like they were listed. So chamomile doesn't have an H outside of the US in a lot of places. So you're going to see chamomile with an A, CA, and other places with the CH. So I just copied them basically word for word. Okay, so here you can see free and bound salicylates. A fresh version was tested, and then you're going to find the full research article and then a link to at least the abstract. If I was able to find the full research article, I will link you there. Looks like the details was taken off, so I'm going to add that. And then there's also another couple of fields that if I had a couple extra comments to make or about the article, I'll put it in there. Chiang was one that I had a comment on. Oh yeah, some of them, if I was able to figure out, I put in the method so we can compare if the gas chromatography is as good as the liquid chromatography. One of these, oh, like I said, I lost a little bit of data. I bet you it was that. One of these here, I just want to say that I did end up adding a couple of new of new articles. So I'm going to stop recording. I think that covers all of the big changes here. Okay, I added a couple of new articles. One is I already had Swain up, and probably most of Malacar's, because theirs is really interesting with all of the bound salicylates, and it seems like it really reflects what I'm experiencing when I eat food. Like the other ones, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm not salicylate sensitive. Maybe I'm just allergic to, like, I don't know, chloroplast or something. And then, you know, you think about like having an aspirin that's all white and has no chloroplast, and it's like, well, that would definitely kill me. So I feel like Malacar and Kezica and Swain really have a good understanding of where most of the foods list, and there's a good variation in those articles. But I didn't have all of Kezica's up, so I went through that. That one was over 100 entries. Most of these are like 60 to 150 entries. I added all of Malacar. This one is a new one you guys have asked a lot about, and this is one reason why is because Charlotte Race mentioned it in her Beyond the Salicylate handbook. She references it. So this is Chang. They're in Taiwan, and they tested a whole bunch of Taiwanese food, and it's amazing, like all the different things that they tested. And there's some things I just don't know what they are. If you know what they are, send me a picture and maybe, you know, scientific name or something for the food. Like I think Japanese yam. I had a hard time clarifying what that was. Anyway, unfortunately for this study, there's the results are actually really low, which, you know, maybe they're eating more natural food with fewer pesticides, so they have fewer salicylates in them, but altogether, all those tests were really low. However, soy was quite high. So just to let you know, if you are one of those folks that struggle with soy, that was an interesting find. So yeah, lots of new articles added. We'll dig into each article individually and kind of look at it and assess it. But I just wanted to let you know, Happy New Year, and I hope that this resource is helpful and useful for you. If you have any research articles, send them my way. I'll be putting them in my flashcards, little file cabinet there, and we'll spend some time this year looking through it, at least through the springtime. Before things get really busy for me. All right, I think that's it. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.